Well, that was a great dinner.
It was. So, I've been thinking a lot about what we discussed, and I think I'm ready.
Really? Are you sure?
Yes, let's not wait any longer.
Right here? Right now?
Sure, why not?
Okay, yeah, well,
Wait. Do you have protection?
why don't you see for yourself? One touch, we're going to Hawaii.
Yay!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Product Officer of PayPal, Hill Ferguson.
Thank you. Now, if you guys read anything into that video other than safe mobile commerce, I don't know what to tell you. Now, what I will tell you is 2014 has been a very dynamic year in our industry. We've seen the emergence of Bitcoin, we've seen one-touch payments, and the long-anticipated launch of Apple Pay. Now, like many of you, I've been in this industry for a long time. This is my 15th year. And I've always thought payments were cool. But I can say with certainty now that I'm not the only one. The industry's taking note. Right now, if you go to Angel's List, which is a popular website where angel investors can source new investments, you'll find almost 1,500 different startups promising to innovate in our industry. And there's never been a more exciting time to be here. Just a couple of weeks ago, we launched our 15th anniversary of the first PayPal transaction. But it isn't about big companies or small companies, who's going to win, who's going to lose. This is a much bigger opportunity for all of us to participate in. And the best way to summarize it is on the image behind me. The simple fact that over 85% of all transactions still occur in cash. And so that is what we should all be focused on in this room. It's all about the opportunity to digitize cash. So there are three trends I want to talk about today. These three trends are what's shaping the future of digital payments, in particular mobile payments. NFC, something I call contextual commerce, and the convergence of identity and mobile. So first, several factors have emerged to make the second act of NFC a little more promising than the first. So several years ago, technology called host card emulation was invented. But it wasn't until Google really embraced this and packaged it into the Gingerbread operating system where it really promised to set the stage for NFC adoption. So what this did was pretty groundbreaking. It actually broke the gridlock between mobile operators, card-issuing banks, and device makers. This cleared the path for open access to all and set the stage for a whole lot of innovation from any company who wanted to access that NFC chip on those devices. Now, Apple Pay launched with great fanfare a couple of weeks ago, and it's a big deal for all of us. But most of us in this room know that the real news here was in tokenization, and what Visa and other card networks are doing to help all companies that have large repository of payment cards become a digital wallet overnight. And this promises to invite a whole lot more competition into our industry. And there's EMV. And if you're a retailer, you probably have this date circled on your calendar back at the office. And so this is the date where the card networks promise to shift the liability back onto you, the retailers, if you don't have EMV-compliant terminals in your stores. But will this be the day when consumers mass adopt this technology? Let's look at some facts. As we stand here today, still only 2% of all terminals are EMV-enabled. Now, this promises to change with both the mandates and the new excitement in the industry behind Apple Pay and other sure-to-come announcements that will come out afterwards. On the consumer side, that has to occur too. So after 3 years of having Gingerbread in the market, still only 20% of consumers have that operating system running on their Android device. And if you're an iPhone user, you know you need a 6 or a 6 Plus, which just came out a few weeks ago. So everyone in this room probably has the latest and greatest mobile phone, and we probably even upgrade it every year. but I can guarantee you most Americans don't. And so we're probably stuck in a little bit of a chicken and egg problem for the near term. But now more than ever, the promise of NFC seems to be real and materializing. The second trend I want to talk about is something I'll call contextual commerce. And this is really about the next generation of online shopping. So shopping in stores has always been a social experience. How many of you go to the mall by yourself? I do sometimes, but most people don't. How many of you take pictures of gadgets that you want to buy or shirts or clothes and text them to your friends and ask for their opinion or see what they think? A lot of people do that, right? We're constantly looking for input and validation on some very important purchases that we make. But until now, online shopping has never been a social activity. You remember this? So back in 1999, most online commerce was driven by display advertising business on large portals like Yahoo and AOL and others. So you'd be surfing around reading news or checking your quotes and portfolios, and you might see a big display ad for flowers for Mother's Day and think, oh gosh, I hadn't bought Mom anything. So I'll click this ad, and I'll wait a few seconds, and I'll land on some commerce site, and I'll go through a bunch of steps, and I'll buy flowers and send them to her. And then Google came along and really perfected the science of search, matching people who were looking for products with companies who wanted to sell those products, and making it really fast and really easy. But consumers still have to click through and go to another site to complete that purchase. Only several years later, we started spending more and more of our time on social networks. After all, it's where our friends are, talking about fun stuff, having more and more open conversations, sometimes sharing more than we should, right? People start sharing more and more about their preferences, their likes, their dislikes. And then mobile comes along, and all that activity shifts to the device. And so now, people are using Facebook and Twitter on their mobile apps more than ever. And if you look at the type of contextual advertising that's coming in your feeds, it's very targeted, right? There's a lot of data that we've all shared with these platforms about who we are, about who our friends are, about what we talk about, what we search for and browse for. I mean, the advertising is very, very relevant. And so all of a sudden, new commerce opportunities are emerging on new platforms. Pinterest is one that I'm really excited about, right? They came along and helped us share and discover products that our friends are very interested in, creating a strong social context around products that we like and products that we might want to buy. You've even got new companies like House that can help you remodel your house right on your mobile phone. So we've created all these new contexts that are giving rise to new commerce opportunities. But look at the names: Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, House, and there are plenty others. These aren't retailers. They actually don't sell anything, right? And so if you're a retailer, you need to be thinking about, how do I work with these networks so that when the context drives a purchase activity of a consumer, I can connect my products and services with my customers who want to buy them. Now, the third trend I'll mention is the convergence of identity and mobile. This is what really makes the payment start to disappear in the overall experience. Now, this is all due to the simple fact that there's so much data on our smartphones that help us create a digital fingerprint to better manage security. And it used to be on the first days of the web, if you wanted security, you had to provide a clunkier interface or a worse consumer experience. But now with mobile, you can actually create experiences that are more secure and actually easier to use, and that's what's happening. And the first companies to do this were some of the ride-sharing apps that we've all used, like Uber, Lyft, and many others. They actually put the payment in the back seat and focus on creating an experience for customers that they've never had before and helping them get a ride. And that was all enabled by companies like Braintree, who created best-in-class tools for developers to vault payment tokens, store them securely in the cloud, create these frictionless experiences for customers. And we continue to innovate in this space. Just a couple of months ago, we launched OneTouch, which takes advantage of the network of mobile applications that embed the SDK and give consumers an option to opt in to being identified as a PayPal customer on any app that they're using, to have a very safe and a very easy checkout experience. And so these payments that are occurring in-app are becoming faster and safer right before our very eyes. And payments aren't the only industry to take note of this. There have been other industries that have tapped in. Take the airline industry, for example. So again, we'll go back in our time machine to 1999. This is what it looked like in an airport. I mean, take a look at that. Do you remember that? So many people, long lines, tons of agents, paper tickets, no mobile phones, no security lines either, but still. Now look at it today. So much different. No lines, tons of kiosks, practically no service agents. Everybody's got a mobile phone with a boarding pass on it practically. And I guess you could say we traded the long security lines for faster check-in lines, but still, you get the point. It's a different picture in retail. Look back again, 1999 in a grocery store. Long lines. Can you go back one slide, please? Oh, maybe missing one here. So retail checkout in 1999. A lot of checkout lines, a lot of cashiers, a lot of bored people waiting to buy stuff. Look at that today. It's basically the same thing. Not much has changed. All right, you got a lot of people standing in line. You got a lot of cashiers. You got a lot of bored people, except there is one subtle difference. If you look at that, about half the people have their mobile phones out. And so they're texting, they're surfing the web. They're doing about everything but paying for the stuff they're waiting in line to buy. So there's got to be a better way to do this. Right? Now, before you say, but wait, regulation. Let's remember, the airline industry is regulated too, and they found a way to do better. So we know we can do more here, and I know it's coming, and it's very exciting to see. But I think this convergence of digital identity and mobile will be key in helping us do that. So, in summary, three key trends shaping the future of mobile. The second active NFC, a lot more promising than the first. The rise of contextual commerce and creating new purchase occasions. And the convergence of identity and mobile. And so what do we do with all this? You might be asking yourself, what am I supposed to think? What should my company do? What should my product do? How should I be retooling for the future? And I'll tell you a couple of ways to think about it. One is, you have to focus on being where your customers are. And so at PayPal, this is something we've always focused on. Now, it may sound obvious, but it's very hard to do because customer needs constantly evolve and change. Commerce is occurring in new places every single day that we hadn't thought about. And so it's a constant exercise to think about that. Let me give you some new examples that we'll share with you today. PayPal customers love Whoppers, right? And so one of the things we've done is we've partnered with a company called Tilster, who helps make mobile apps for Burger King. And so when people are now on their mobile phones looking for Burger King stores or their favorite burger, they can now easily check out with their PayPal account and get what they want. Let's take an example of a small business. Now, people don't come to PayPal with an idea of how to start a business. They're usually thinking of domain names and other things, and they'll go to places like GoDaddy, and they'll register a domain name, and then they'll get a shopping cart and an e-commerce site, and PayPal's right there integrated with them to help them set up and start selling internationally in minutes. And so we're very pleased to announce a partnership with GoDaddy today for a new service that they've launched. And for every small business that needs a new way to sell, there are hundreds of thousands of businesses out there that already have credit card payments on their website. And they're getting them from world-class solutions like Visa's CyberSource and Authorize.net. And today we're pleased to announce a partnership where 500,000 of those accounts that work on those two platforms can seamlessly get PayPal checkout integrated into their site in minutes. So we're focused on partnering with anyone and everyone to make sure that our products and services can reach our customers when and where they want to use them. Now, the second thing that we're focused on is playing to our strengths. And it's critical for all of us to do this because we all bring something a little bit different to the table. And for PayPal, it's our closed-loop network. We operate in over 203 markets with 160 million active buyers and sellers. And at a time when some companies are shying away from data, we're actually embracing it, and we're using that data to provide better features and services for our customers that they actually value. And I want to share with you some examples. PayPal has long held trust and safety at the forefront of our product offering. And we're famous for our buyer and seller protection policies. We use world-class risk management capabilities to analyze the data in our network to protect people when they buy things online and to protect sellers when they ship things online. And our seller protection policies are unrivaled in the marketplace, and it's a really key reason why a lot of customers, merchants, choose to partner with PayPal to grow their business internationally. Another example is 24/7 support. We use our data from our network to enable our agents to service customers in 203 markets in over 26 different languages. But we're also innovating every day around this network that we offer. So I want to give you a couple examples. So outside the US, most merchants don't pay to return goods. Here in the US, you buy something, it doesn't fit, you don't like it, you send it back. It's got a prepaid postage stamp in the package, and you don't even think twice about it. Well, go to Europe, and let's say you live in France and you're buying a pair of boots from a merchant in Germany. If those boots don't fit, you got to send them back. And guess who pays for it? Not the merchant, you, the consumer. And so we were doing a lot of focus group studies in France trying to understand why people were abandoning their shopping carts, which happens to still be the #1 problem for e-commerce merchants. And what a lot of customers told us was, we have to pay for shipping, sort of a non-obvious insight. And so we ran a pilot in France where we said, hey, if you check out with PayPal and what you buy doesn't fit or you don't like the color or for whatever reason you want to send it back, PayPal will pay for the shipping. And as you can imagine, it was extremely successful, and people signed up for it in droves. And so we rolled it out to 20 more countries just months ago, all across Europe. And we're really excited about that. Again, it's only enabled because of the closed-loop network of buyers and sellers. Another example that I'm really excited about is pay after delivery. So think back, when we used to sit on the couch and watch TV and order things, and you'd either call and order something and give a credit card number, or you might pay COD. Why do people pay COD, or cash on delivery? It's because still, even today, a lot of people don't want to part with their money before they get their goods. And so we started piloting this in the UK last year, giving consumers up to 14 days to pay after they receive the goods that they buy online. And we found that it took that hesitant buyer who just had a shred of doubt before clicking pay to feel confident in going ahead and making that purchase, knowing that they could have up to 14 days to pay after they get their goods. And so we're so excited about this offering, we're announcing we're making it generally available across the US to all PayPal customers. So there's been more change in our industry in the last couple of years, and it will continue to be a dynamic industry that we're in. You have to be there for your customers, and you have to anticipate where they're going to be and tool your offerings to make sure that you can work within the ecosystems where your customers want to be. And you also have to focus on innovation around your core strengths. Again, we all do something different in this industry, and if you focus on what you do differently and double down on it, you'll be successful. So we've been at this game for 15 years, starting with the first Palm Pilot money beaming between two Palm Pilots in 1998, to pioneering the first text-to-buy service back in 2006, to the very first pay with your fingerprint earlier this year in partnership with Samsung. So we've come a long way, and we all know we have a long way to go. But this is an exciting time to be in this industry, right? This is a cool industry. Finally, we all can see that. In fact, think back to the couple in the video we showed earlier. You'd say it's not just cool, it's downright sexy, right? So we should all be excited about being here. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.